Steven Crowder has returned to college campuses. It cost him $250,000 in security to do so, but he's back and he's leveled up. This is Steven Crowder in beast mode.
Just the definition of political violence, I want to make sure we both agree on it.
He gets the other person to agree upon the definition of political violence.
It's violence as a tool being used toward a political end.
I think I can agree with you on that.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
And you're going to see why this is so important in just a minute.
The political violence is coming from the left. It's not proportionate with that on the right.
We could make the same statement about the right very easily.
So she's going to go to the top talking point that we've been hearing in response to Charlie Kirk.
Was it just a month or two ago that the Democratic lawmakers were shot, and that was like, all right. I think our bigger problem is that the
Talk about the Hortmans in Minnesota, right?
Right.
Watch how Crowder handles this.
The man who assassinated, which I roundly condemn, Vance Bolter, the Hortmans, did not do it as a means to a political end. He said Tim Walz ordered him to assassinate somebody who was out of his mind.
So this is an individual that sounds insane.
Oh, it didn't count as political violence.
Based on the definition you agreed to, right?
Yeah.
Now people on the other side are going to try and counter and claim, well, how do you know that the guy who shot Charlie Kirk was not insane? He articulated his reasoning. For one, the insanity of one individual does not explain the responses we saw on my own college campus across the country. People celebrating, throwing parties, claiming this is a good thing. Did we see that in regards to the death of those two lawmakers?
But I think we could pick a more clear example, a multitude of them. The reason we're here, and I don't think you would argue that this is unnecessary, the assassination in cold blood is an act of terrorism of Charlie Kirk. Is that political violence?
The fact that she has to sit here and pause and think about that says a lot.
You seem so confident on the Hortmans, but not Charlie Kirk?
I would say, I was just thinking about your question.
She does come around and admits, yeah, probably.
Probably because he was like Turning Point USA is a conservative organization, right? That's meant to try and rally young conservatives and be involved. And so, yeah, I would probably agree that his death was political, or his murder, assassination. But I guess I just have a hard time reconciling that with, we can say that the senator and her husband being killed wasn't political, but...
I'll tell you exactly why. I'll tell you exactly why. Because the express motive of the terrorist who assassinated Charlie Kirk was politics.
Are you targeting someone because they are politically effective and you want to achieve a different political outcome?
I thought that guy was a registered Republican, and then he donated the guy who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I'm really terrible at names.
Crooks.
Yeah, that he was a registered Republican.
Look, if you're trying to kill a president, what is important here is that you don't want that person to be president. What ideology does that reflect? It's not like, well, who did he vote for 2 elections ago?
So would you consider him a act of violence on the left or on the right?
I would consider the attempted assassination of a presidential nominee political violence, yes. People can say he was a registered Republican. That doesn't change the fact that it was an act of political violence carried out against Donald Trump, who's a conservative.
Yes. I hear what you're saying, that the right is targeted more often.
Yeah, we're the victims of political violence.
More often. There's clear information, data that shows us that the left is violent or is more violent than the right.
Yes, not only in crime statistics, but also in the polling after Charlie Kirk's death.
At Harvard, for example, 34% of students believed that violence was an acceptable course of action to prevent someone like Charlie Kirk. What was the response of that student at Harvard? I'm surprised it's not higher. Why? Because Harvard's a very liberal school. Think about the logic of what he's saying there.
If you look at the polls post-assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you label yourself as a moderate, those who identify as liberal support political violence at a ratio of 6 to 1. You still can't point me to an example that is comparable on the right of Charlie Kirk, someone who was not an elected official, a public figure who was really notable for nothing more than expressing his opinion and having conversations, who was assassinated in cold blood and then gleefully celebrated thereafter.
And this is a powerful point. If you could think of one, let me know. I can't.
The only off-ramp would have been the left saying, look, it's incumbent upon us.
That sound you're hearing when he hits his chest there, that's the body armor he has to wear.
To tone this down and say, you know what? They're not fascist. We made these people believe that this guy would never relinquish the reins of power. How do you deal with fascists? You can't do it at a ballot box.
Because if what many are claiming is true, resistance would be warranted.
You have a huge portion of Democrats who believe that about Donald Trump and his voters.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you saying that people believe that. Absolutely.
That's very different between the right and the left, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know, Stephen. It feels like it's so polarized right now.
It's as though she just does not want to admit what he's saying, but he is laying it out so clearly she does not have a choice.
I would disagree, though. I think the left does have their own fears about it. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but I think there's a lot of fear out there.
Of course they have fear. They think half the country are fascists. So, okay.
It's just different.
The leftist speakers on this campus don't need the same kind of security. They don't.
I'll take note of that. I mean, I've been a student here for 2 years, and I hadn't even paid that much attention.
Which is why this is so scary, because Charlie Kirk was killed doing the one thing that could de-escalate the situation.
So how do we fix this then?
Oh, I mean, I think we need to have more civil discourse. I think.
Can't do that. We get shot.
Well, we can. We're doing it right now.
Yeah, but Crowder just paid $250,000 in security to make this happen. He's got Navy SEALs standing next to him.
Let's
with
not
a brigade.
Be so pessimistic. But Stephen, come on, we have to change our attitudes about it.
So what does that mean? Because we still have to be realistic about what actually is.
We can't constantly fixate on the negative stuff. I know it's important and it matters, but we can do it.
Yeah, it's easy to say that when you are not being accused of being a fascist.
And just as
I can do it with $250,000 of security. Most people don't have that.
Most people don't have that. And you talk about like fearing for your life.
Yeah.
I am a female pastor.
Oh, she's a female pastor, so therefore you're at danger of assassination?
I too live with a fear.
Do you have metal detectors and armed security?
We've thought about bringing security to the church. We talked about it.
We literally can't have these discussions on our side unless we have it.
We have security.
It's a necessity.
Yeah. And I think that's really unfortunate.
And this is the response you're going to see. Well, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's like when I got fired, that was the response I got from my childhood friends. Well, yeah, sorry you lost your job, Warren. It's unfortunate, but you did say this about J.K. Rowling, so what do you expect?
Do you think it would be more helpful to call the left out and say, hey, you guys have been saying fascist, you guys have been saying Nazi, you guys have been saying genocide, sexist, and people believe it, and we're seeing political violence now that we both hate. Do you think that calling them out aggressively, rhetorically, might be more productive than saying, well, I guess it happens on both sides?
It is all about being able to acknowledge incorrect behavior, but we live in a world today where incorrect behavior does not exist. It's all just a matter of perspective.
Right now?
No, I don't, because it kind of reminds me of therapy, where it's not necessarily helpful to point the finger in ways that are counterproductive.
And that's exactly what we're hearing right here. We can't point the finger at objectively incorrect behavior because it's counterproductive. Then how do we identify incorrect behavior?
Maybe let me ask you then this way, where you say pointing fingers. What is the reason that we record crime statistics?
I don't know.
That is why we have crime statistics, because that allows us to track incorrect behavior when that objective line was crossed.
If we look at those statistics and we look at the polls and we see an overwhelming number of those on the left at a ratio of 6-to-1 support violence compared to those on the right, and we see people being murdered in cold blood, if you are conservative, right-leaning in this country and a public speaker, you are more at risk. How is that pointing the finger?
Because to them, everything has always been a matter of perspective.
I think how data is presented matters a lot.
I agree.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I really have on that particular thought. Were you wanting?
To drive this point home, Stephen does the best thing you can do. Rather than tell, you show. He pulls up a video clip.
Let me show you what they don't include in the data, because like you said, people speak differently than data. Remember this in Portland?
When was this?
The Summer of Love, George Floyd riots. Aaron Danielson, shot point blank dead because he was a Trump voter. And the man, Reinhold, it was Michael Reinhold who shot him, told the cops, I got the Trump supporter, dead. We agree that's political violence?
Yes.
So why do you think that wouldn't be included in the data as left-wing political violence? Because that's the number cited by the left right now to justify it.
I think we have so much data that it's hard to even, especially in today's.
So now we just have too much data, so therefore we can't identify objectively wrong behavior accurately because there's too much data.
You're saying in the police recorded call, they said
he spoke to the police before they shot him.
So it's on a 911 call. That
so this is on
the Trumper.
Yeah, he was talking to the police.
Even this example, she's doubting.
So there's
police cam video.
This is security camera video, and then I believe there's also police camera video. Clear as day. Are you a Trump supporter? Yes, we've got a Trump supporter. Bang, bang, dead. All the studies from left-wing sources don't include that.
Everything up to this point was to get her to think about this.
Would it surprise you if the authoritative source that's being cited, the prosecution project, the author of it, was actually arrested himself on January 20th protesting Donald Trump, committing crimes, and that entire day was also omitted?
Probably not.
A member of Antifa who said we are an organized group and we confront fascists. That's the source that gets disseminated across. Seems like there might be a bias there.
I mean, he's got her, he's just presenting this so well. She does not have anywhere to go with this. She has to concede.
And you celebrated it. A majority of people on the left, not all, not yourself, but too many celebrated it.
I don't celebrate Texas
No,
that way.
but many did, and we both know that we saw it.
I know you're right,
And then you came and blamed us and said we need to tone it down, and told us that we're more violent with clearly dishonest stats.
Yeah.
That's why I say that both sidesing it doesn't help, because you're backing people into a corner, not you, the left, with lies.
After all of this, what is her response? This is really hard. I just don't have enough time.
Okay.
Would you disagree with any of those approaches? Changing the rhetoric, taking accountability, and stopping the soft on crime revolving door criminality policy?
This is hard, Stephen, because I just feel like we don't have enough time to even really dive deep into each one.
Well, those
of
are two proposals.
Issues. I know. But I just need more time to process and really consider and to understand what you mean exactly with each thing. Actually, I'm so...
Okay, that's fine.
I have to go to class.
Okay, well, please peruse those sources.